NASCAR's newest title contender.
Denny Hamlin, he's quickly become Mr. Monday, winning postponed races in Martinsville and Texas with surgery on his wounded knee in between.
That 11 car is what everybody said put your money on. He's my man.
Denny Hamlin wins.
All we do is win.
His third win of 2010.
Let's go racing, boys. Monster Mile, here I come.
Ready to roll in Dover, Delaware for 400 miles.
Who's ready?
This is a track full of surprises.
You ready?
Because I know I am.
Let's go racing, boys! Let's go racing, boys!
Miles, I'm coming to take you down.
This is a carnivorous racetrack. It loves to chew up sheet metal.
It is man and machine against concrete. This is the Monster Mile. Fox Sports welcomes you to NASCAR Sprint Cup Racing from Dover, Delaware, presented by Budweiser. NASCAR's hottest driver has never won here. That's how tough it is. Neither has the current points leader. He has the largest points lead of the season so far. But Jimmie Johnson has won 5 times at Dover, including the last 2. 400 grueling miles will decide today's winner. And the weather terrific. No rain in the forecast and cloud cover, temperature in the 70s. Our Hollywood hotel on the scene. Along with Darrell Waltrip, Jeff Hammond, Chris Myers. And we're glad you're with us. And today's race marks the 1/3 point of the season as we work our way to the championship and the chase. What's caught your eye?
I think Jeff Gordon, I think the frustration that he is feeling having the fastest car week in and week out and not being able to drive that thing into victory circle, that's something I'm really going to keep an eye on as we go forward here, because I know how badly he wants to win. I think he's trying a little too hard.
To me, it has to be the courage of Denny Hamlin. And this guy here is having a knee surgery. All the things have kind of gone on. He still performs. He's being able to suck it up and make it happen and put himself, I think, in contention to be one of the guys that can take down Jimmie Johnson.
And we'll talk with Denny Hamlin and examine more of Jeff Gordon's problems, some of the hot headlines, the happening stories, NASCAR Hall of Fame opening up this past Tuesday in Charlotte. The inaugural inductions are scheduled on Sunday, a week from today, on Speed. Brian Vickers will miss the race today, hospitalized due to blood clots in his veins. Casey Mears will fill in the 83 car. Vickers has been released from the hospital. We hope he's okay. Denny Hamlin on the hot streak, as Jeff just mentioned, winning 3 of the last 6 races. Meanwhile, Jimmie Johnson, 4-time champ, he's off a bit. A DNF last week. Martin Truex Jr. on the pole today in Dover, the site of his only Sprint Cup victory. And aside from racing, Kyle Busch on the pole for both the truck and nationwide series at Dover, taking the checkered flag in the nationwide race at Dover last night. And I am amazed. I know he's only 25 years old, but Kyle Busch, doesn't the guy wear out, especially when you get to grueling tracks like this?
You know, these guys today are in so much better shape than we were 20 years ago. But, you know, the thing that worries me the most is mentally. You get out there, you run all these laps, and you're 3 days in the car, you're a little dehydrated, you're a little bit tired. I just worry about at the end of the race, right, if you're as sharp as you need to be or could be.
But, Darrell, you learn so much from running the races. I think that's another big plus for him. But the other part of that thing, when you talk about guys wearing down, think about the improvements in the cockpit and the hydration that everybody can get into. So I think you're much better off as far as that's concerned.
True.
All right, we're going to talk with Jimmie Johnson a little bit. Since the spoiler, Darrell, in the last 6 races, he has averaged a 15th place finish.
You know, he's got to be wondering what the heck's going on. You know, a car came out of the infield last week and took him out of the race. And they're going to his favorite track, Lowe's Motor Speedway. He's also had some success here. That's a good pause, a dramatic pause. Plenty of history here in Delaware, our nation's first state, even when it comes to racing as well. Let's check in with the guys who, along with Darrell, will call the race from the booth. Mike Joy, Larry McReynolds. And Larry, congratulations, proud father, his 18-year-old son Brandon winning the UARA race in Rockingham yesterday.
Well, certainly, Chris, a great win for the whole McReynolds family on a 1-mile super speedway, and here we are at another mile with the greatest view in all of racing.
Yeah, the fans that sit here on the Monster Bridge over turn 3, look towards turn 2, see those cars lunge up off the hill, up on the straightaway. We talk about the big one at Talladega on the backstretch. Inevitably, we may see the big one in the concrete canyon we call the backstretch here at Dover.
That's true. I'm going to keep a close eye on the Fords today. The Richard Petty Motorsports and Roush Fenway cars practiced really well. The Fords need a rebound. They could get it here.
I like those Joe Gibbs Toyotas, the cars we've been talking about for the 6 races since we went to the conventional rear spoiler.
You know, we're in the Northeast with the tightest population density of anywhere NASCAR races and the most avid love of sports.
And that's a base hit. From the point, fires. Touchdown, Eagles.
Wait a second. Those aren't the only sports we love in the Northeast.
I guess historically you don't think of the Northeast as being a big NASCAR area, but it is.
Some of the earliest days of NASCAR, you know, they actually raced at some tracks in New Jersey.
And also in New York, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Massachusetts. Those early tracks fueled interest in the Northeast.
You know, the Northeast is actually a huge NASCAR spot.
There's tons of racers up there. You know, those modified racers up there, dirt and asphalt, are amazing.
The Sprint Cup Series currently hits the Northeast with trips to Pocono, Watkins Glen, New Hampshire, and Dover.
I love Dover. Dover's one of my favorite racetracks.
There's a lot of really savvy fans in the grandstands.
Dover's Monster Mile opened in 1969, and Richard Petty won the first 2 Grand National races here. It stood out for its white concrete and for being the only track in NASCAR that's exactly 1 mile around. Dale Earnhardt Jr. won a very special race here in 2001.
Well, I can remember after 9/11, that was our first race back, and I am telling you, it was an unbelievable experience. The fans were fired up.
So don't forget about NASCAR when you're talking about Northeast sports passions.
It was a special place to win for me, being close to home, you know, being close to my family. And
The fans definitely know their NASCAR there.
Chris, I grew up in New England, and on any given summer Saturday night, there were more people at the short tracks than at the average Red Sox game. What do you say we do the race from right here?
Can't beat the view.
All right, let's pick out a seat. Back to you.
All right, you can catch Red Sox games and NASCAR here on Fox. And congratulations in order for your daughter graduating college.
Yeah, Jessica Lee Waltrip graduated from Belmont yesterday, and it was a red-letter day in the Waltrip household. The first college graduate out of the Waltrip family.
It was great. Yeah, you zipped back and forth here. My son is...
You should be.
My son is graduating high school next month, and when he goes, he wants to be an actor. I say, you better get a real job. Work on that.
He's been watching you too much.
This is miles behind. That's not Jeff Hammond before, after he works out. That's the monster here.
Exactly.
At the Monster Mile.
Yeah. Exactly.
And the winner gets a trophy. The Monster Mile, our pit reporters are fearless when covering this track. Let's begin our pit watch with Matt Yokin.
Chris, 7-time champion Richard Petty carried the famous Petty Blue and Dayglow orange colors to victory lane here at Dover 7 times. Today, A.J. Allmendinger will carry a very special paint scheme, celebrating and beginning the countdown to Hall of Fame weekend. I'll talk to the King coming up.
Did Tony Stewart actually jump out of an airplane? Was he pushed? I'll ask him.
Denny Hamlin is the hottest driver in the sport, having won 3 of the last 6 races. But does that momentum continue at a track where his record has been monstrous? We'll ask him.
He's the mayor of Mayetta, New Jersey. Well, not really, but he might as well be the way he's promoting his nearby hometown. I'll talk to the pole sitter, Martin Truex Jr. Chris?
Thanks, Krista and crew. Here's what's around the turn, straight ahead on the show. Hendrick on top for a while. Lately, his driver's taken some hits and making headlines for something other than racing. We'll talk to Rick Hendrick about it. The NASCAR Hall of Fame, open to the public. We'll give you the scoop on one of the sport's proudest moments. And we're going to hear from one of the inaugural inductees, the King. 6 races, not a long time to go without a win, unless you're Jimmy Johnson. We'll talk with the 4-time champ and NASCAR giving back at the annual Drive for Autism golf tournament. What it's like to be Miss Sprint, we'll meet her. Any leftovers with that Peasy guy. All that, plus gas and go. It's NASCAR on Fox. We're live in Dover, Delaware, and glad you're with us. NASCAR Sprint Cup Racing on Fox, presented by Budweiser, is sponsored by Sprint, proud sponsor of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. You're watching Sprint Cup Racing, the countdown to the start of the race here in Dover, Delaware, presented by Budweiser. Every weekend when NASCAR hits town, it's more than just a race. One of the faces in the crowd, Miss Sprint Cup, and not just a pretty face. She does a lot more here.
What's up, everybody? I'm Monica Palumbo, Miss Sprint Cup, and I want to take you on a day in the life with me. Come on. So I start out my day here at the Sprint Experience, and it's free for all the race fans to come out. We also have some racing simulators. And today we got Jimmy Johnson's championship trophy